2023 presidential and National Assembly elections have come and gone. The president-elect, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, has been issued with a certificate of return by the Independent National Electoral Commission after he was declared the winner. The president-elect spoke about his commitment to an improved democratic system and a progressive Nigeria. He declared himself as a public servant and not necessarily a leader, promising to take all along, including those from the opposing parties. He had good news for the Nigerian students, where he promised improved education system that will end industrial actions by lecturers, while loan and credit facilities will be made available to students and youth. But the Nigerian economy and insecurity has been a huge challenge to the ruling political party since it came on board in 2015. These and other pressing issues that Nigerians will want him to address will be staring the new president-elect in the face. For sure, some Nigerians will by now be setting the agenda for the president-elect, and that will be the focus on Nigeria today. I am your carrier, Clinton. Feeling good to be with you again. With me is Dr. Iroro Stephen Izu, a political economist and development expert from the Department of Political Science and International Relations, University of Abuja. Welcome to the program.
Thank you very much. My pleasure. Good evening, Nigerians.
Also joining us via Zoom is former Commissioner for Information, Adamawa State, and an international affairs analyst, Ahmed Sajo. Good to have you with us, sir. Okay, I'll start with you, Ahmed. The president-elect Bola Tinubu has made some statements on how he will run the government. He said he would run an inclusive government. Do you see that as part of his personality? Okay, it's like we've lost the audio there. You had the question I threw to him. So
yeah, okay, I want to let me begin by congratulating the president-elect. Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Now, before I move on to talk about whether his personality has this federal character, to carry everybody along, in terms of his policies, programs, and projects that we expect him to shun out and then to start implementing as soon as he is sworn in, by May 29. Now, I want to also say that I want to remind us that this administration still has about 3 months to go, and we should not chase them out of office. So I believe President Buhari still has a lot to accomplish. One of which is to perhaps to revisit this Naira redesign and policy, and of course to pay, ASU our 8 months salary that is yet to pay. So having said that, I want to say that Nigerians went into the election, with high level of mistrust, high level, of mistrust. Why would I say high level of mistrust? They, had this presumption, that perhaps if a Bola Ahmed Tinubu wins the election, because of this issue of Muslim tickets, there's going to be a kind of a marginalization of a segment or section, of this country. So that mistrust was one of the factors that drove many of them, massively into participating in the election, voting, even the first-time voters. And that means Bola Ahmed Tinubu being the president-elect and eventually going to be the president, of Nigeria, has a lot of work to do in terms of trying to redefine and reassure Nigerians, that the suspicions and the presumption that they have had, before the election, are not true. So he has a whole lot of work to do, by trying to, generate or engender some confidence in Nigeria. How would he do that? The Minister of Information that is going to appoint his spokespersons, must be people that have this not just expertise but empathy, to be able to engender, confidence in the new government. That the Bola Ahmed Tinubu and Shetima, ticket or spectrum, will be able to deliver to Nigerians, a kind of inclusive, governance.
Okay, Ahmed, the president also told us, said that he will be a servant, not just a leader, but a servant. He's there to serve the people. And like I asked earlier, he promised to run an inclusive government. You somehow have worked with him at one time or the other. Do you see that as part of his personality?
Yeah, thank you very much. While congratulating the president-elect, let me say very clearly that if there's one person that is prepared to run an all-inclusive government and to run a government that is servant-led, I think Bola Ahmed Tinubu is that person. We are at a time when we need a lot of the brinkmanship that he brings into governance, his capacity to have survived such a long time within the political arena and still be relevant all this while will be of value today. This election is unique and special. This is the first time since our return to democracy in 1999 that a president will be declared without winning up to 50% of the votes, which means that he has a lot of healing to do within the political setup. Our democracy has matured. People could make their choices in a very diverse manner. This diversity does not mean enmity amongst the people. I think it's plurality of people's choices, which is, of course, naturally the reason for democracy, that people should have different choices, but the majority of the majority will have their way. So I believe that the first thing Bola Tinubu has going for him is his capacity to run an inclusive government. Even while he was governor of Lagos, his government was made up of people from all over the country. He should carry it forward as the president of this country to have an all-inclusive government that will bring everybody on board. Secondly, this election, whether we like it or not, had been a little bit divisive. So we need to bring everybody back on board. We need to do a lot of healing. We need to create a lot of understanding amongst the people so that we can face the same direction. And then thirdly, and very, very significantly, is the fact that the voter turnout is a little bit low, despite all the hype about several people have been registered and several people have been received their PVCs. We were expecting a turnout that was well above the threshold of 50%, but I understand that the turnout is around 24%. That means that people are beginning to get disenchanted with this democracy. Bola Ahmed Tinubu has the onerous task of restoring confidence in the democracy, of making people believe that the governments that are set up by this democracy are government that serves them and serves their interests. And that's the only way people can come out in large numbers to participate in the process of voting our leaders. I think we are in for a very serious business. And like the president-elect said, I am encouraged by the fact that he said the governance template he has on ground will be actualized immediately, that he will start setting the structures of his government immediately, and that when he is sworn in, he will hit the ground running. We're waiting for him to hit the ground running.
Very much. And Izu, key to any administration is the quality of personnel that make the cabinet. Now, what do you think would be the expectations of Nigerians?
Yeah, very, 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 very enormous expectation. The good thing about the four major candidates, of course, Bola Ahmed Tinubu is no longer a candidate; he's now the president-elect. But the good thing about the four major candidates that participated in the just concluded presidential election is the fact that four of them had held serious political office, in time past, political offices in time past. So they are well grounded in public service. So Nigerians, would not expect more than what Nigeria actually needs at this moment. Nigeria is bedeviled by a lot of, situations that require urgency, in terms of handling. In short, I believe that Bola Ahmed Tinubu may have to declare emergency or state of emergency on some sectors, just to, emphasize the importance, of handling, those sectors. In terms of the economy, in terms of macroeconomic issues, the currency redesign, in terms of insecurity, I believe these are things that must be handled by people who know what they are doing. Now, Bola Ahmed Tinubu told us during the campaigns that he has a coterie, of people whom he had worked with and whom he believed in, and then technocrats who could who hold the magic wands to our problem in this country. This is the time, to bring those people on board. And I agree with my colleague, talking about this bringing people from all shades of the country. We are a diverse country, a very plural country, and we have very good brains, very good minds in this country. So I don't think there is any ethnic group or religious group in this country that is bereft, of people who know what they are doing. So it will do us good if we can bring people, not just people from all ethnic groups now, but people, who have this expertise, this acumen, in responding, to the situation that we find ourselves in this country today. Nigeria needs urgent, rescue. Thank you.
We'll pause here and go and hit the streets to get what some Nigerians are expecting from the president-elect. Stay with us.
We expect good education, good road networks. We expect good jobs for Nigerian youth. And we expect Nigerian youth to cooperate with the government and other political parties so that we can have a better government in this country. Because Asiwaju has done it before in Lagos.
Asiwaju is a man that always loved leaving a positive legacy in anything he has handled so far. The solid foundation he has laid down in Lagos State that other governors have been following suit. I believe when he comes on board in Nigeria, he will have, with the master plan he has so far during the campaign, implementing it, Nigerians should expect something good out of it.
We rise by lifting others. That is my lesson. That is why I learned. I didn't mean there is nobody Tinubu has raised. Today, we are not going to be where we are. It's good to raise people, and people surely, they will surely pay. Even if you raise about 100, surely no matter what, 60 will still have to complement whatever you intend doing.
Welcome back. Setting the agenda for the president-elect is what we are discussing on the program. And my guests are still Dr. Iroro Stephen is a political economist and a development expert from the Department of Political Science and International Relations, University of Abuja. And also via Zoom is the former Commissioner for Information in Adamawa State and an International Affairs Analyst, Ahmed Saju. Ahmed, you had the reaction of people there. And what's your take? What's your view?
Yeah, I think we are lucky. Beyond the president-elect, we have a vice president-elect in the person of Senator Kashim Shettima. We have two people at the helm of affairs that have had experiences as chief executives of different states. We have two people at the helm of affairs that have experiences at the highest legislative level of the country and the Senate of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Both of them former senators, both of them former governors, and both of them have this record of assembling a very strong team, promoting people who have quality, people who have capacity to deliver. We've seen that since Bola Ahmed Tinubu left Lagos, he had left Lagos in the hands of the likes of Babatunde Fashola, He has, today, Lagos is still in the hands of Sanwo-Olu, and all the progress that is going on is because these are very high-quality persons. In Borno State, Kashim Shettima left Borno in the hands of Professor Babagana Zulum. You would all testify and agree that Babagana Zulum is an achiever, is a goal-getter. So we expect that at the federal level, they will assemble a team of highly competent persons, highly capable persons, understanding that we have myriad of challenges. Some of these challenges are really, really very hard to crack, but I'm sure they will assemble a team that will crack those challenges. We have challenges of insecurity, which must be eliminated if we want to go, we want to develop our country. We have a high level of poverty. We have social inequality. These are issues that should be addressed. And like he already mentioned, they're going to address education because education is the bedrock of development. I understand that the president-elect has committed himself to power. He did it in Lagos. He was the first to start talking about a specific grid for Lagos. I'm sure he will tinker with the grid in this country and make sure that we have power. They have a Herculean job, but I know they are both very, very much capable and equal to the task. And we expect a robust government, and we expect an achieving government. And we also expect a government that will listen to the people, that will leverage on experiences gathered while running a highly sophisticated state like Lagos, and another one that is running a highly, controversial area like Maiduguri, where you have insurgents and others. But despite this, they both left very indelible marks in those places. And at the Senate, their records have been very sterling. So we're expecting a very good government, and we're expecting an assemblage of Nigerians that are patriotic, that have capacity, and that have competence to deliver on the promises made during the campaigns.
He's said a lot about his experience, their experience, in fact, both of them, the president-elect and, of course, his vice. Now, the president-elect also talked about, the education sector, which, of course, he really harped on that. He talked about ensuring that there was no more strike and credit facilities and loans for students. That's a huge promise. I know that sounds good to you as a lecturer in university.
Of course.
So, what's your view on this?
Yeah, it's a good one. It's a good one because he also talked about autonomy, for the universities. Now we know that strike action has been something that students unconsciously factor into their years in the university. And it's not a very good thing that for a course of 4 years you spend 5 years in the university. There's a way it affects people psychologically. So the educational sector, there is a minimum percentage that the United Nations has set aside, that countries should meet in their budgets. If Bola Ahmed Tinubu is serious about the fact that he wants to revamp the educational sector and ensure that he lays, a very firm foundation for the country, fine. Now, beyond the rhetorics now, if you say there will not be strike action again, and so on and so forth, we must try to begin from a very clean slate. And what is the clean slate? Let the 8 months, that lecturers were not paid, during the strike period, be paid. So that, because, see, look at the elections. Professors, vice chancellors, contributed their quota in terms of being returning officers and so on and so forth. That is a very risky job that they participated in. You could see what in the Rivers State and returning officer did. At the time, he had to suspend this thing because he said that they were threats to his life. So if academics has done this, then why not say, okay, because of this thing that they have done, despite the strike action, let us pay them this 8-month salary, that we are owing them, that we can begin from a clean slate. So the student loan will come, and everybody will be happy, for that.
Ahmed, the president-elect also talked about working with those who contested against him. How important is this in moving the country forward?
Yeah, I think, well, the issue of education that you have raised is very fundamental, but there are two components that must be addressed very squarely. The issue of functionality and access. Bola Ahmed Tinubu, as our new president, must create an enabling environment for education to be accessible to whoever is willing to go and get educated. But that education should not be just a matter of quantity, that we have graduated this 1,000 number of graduates. I think we should also consider the functionality. How could that education be so functional enough that it creates graduates that would impact positively on their lives and then the lives of other people? Because today, the major crisis we have is that we all see education as a process of acquiring certificates. I think we must have a paradigm shift from there to have education that is functional enough to be in itself an enabler for wealth creation, an enabler for job creation, an enabler for cashing in on opportunities available in the environment, so that the education should be functional enough to be an enabler. As for providing access, we already have a template. We have seen that Lagos has produced quite a number of state universities that are providing opportunities for many people, access to many people to acquire university education. They have so many polytechnics that people have access to acquire polytechnic education. Now we should replicate it all over the country and then begin to make it so functional that our graduates will be an asset, a value to the country. It should be an enabler for people to contribute positively and meaningfully to the development of the country. And it should also be an enabler for us to drive away all the schisms that are trying to tear our country apart. People who are educated should be able to rise above sectionalism, above tribalism, above religious bigotry, so that they can see the nation. We need to build a nation. We need to evolve as a nation. We need to have shared values. We need to have shared destinies so that we can develop our country and make our country the pride of the Africans wherever they may be in the world.
Thank you very much. Now, the president-elect also, there were, earlier on you mentioned that there are sectors that should be declared a state of emergency.
Yeah.
Now, looking at the economy, before we have any kind of stable economy, we must have security.
Yeah.
That is one. What would be your suggestion for the incoming administration? What should they do to make sure we have security? Now, the second question is, for the economy, what should the incoming administration do to ensure we have improvement in terms of the economy?
Okay, thank you very much. Now, I want to say that Nigeria is a country that has so much advantages, because the country is not yet developed, and because it's not yet developed, Nigeria should be a country that should represent one big, mighty workshop. We should be a workshop. This country should be a workshop, in the sense that when activities are going on in the various sectors of the economy, people naturally will get jobs to do, not just this office job now. Talking about construction job and so on and so forth in all sectors. So the president, elect, when sworn in, must focus on the areas of, manufacturing. Manufacturing. Now, we are an oil-producing country that does not refine its oil at home. Now, the president-elect, when sworn in, must begin to ensure that our refineries, function to capacity, refine our oil so that we can also create jobs, for ourselves, and create jobs for ourselves, and ensure that, the various sectors of the economy, live up to expectation. Now, because the reason why there is insecurity in this country is because people don't have jobs to do, people are poor, so people resort to maybe kidnapping, banditry, and so on and so forth. So when we are able to bring about some form of economic, means of livelihood to the people, the people will naturally, if somebody has something that's doing, maybe he works 8 hours a day, what energy will he have to go and be kidnapping people or go and be attacking people? So it's because Nigerians are idle, where the youth will graduate from the university and will not have job to do for 4-5 years. That itself is frustration.
Okay. Thank you very much. So much expectations, but we'll have to stop here for today. But before we go, we want to thank our guest, Dr. Iroro Stephen Izu, a political economist and development expert from the Department of Political Science and International Relations, University of Abuja. We do appreciate your insights and contributions.
Thank you very much. My pleasure.
Also, Ahmed Saju, former Commissioner for Information in Adamawa State and an international affairs analyst. Thank you very much for your contributions. And to you, our viewer, thank you for always being there. And don't forget, Nigeria Today air weekdays at 7:30 p.m. on NTA News 24. You can watch this and other episodes on www.youtube.com/NTA News 24 Hub. Once again, thank you for watching. I'm Eukaria Clinton.